You know, Mar-a-Lago was always something else entirely. A place where opulence met extravagance and decided to throw a never-ending party. Gold-plated everything, marble floors so shiny you'd think they were wet, and chandeliers that could give the night sky a run for its money with all that sparkle. Palm trees swayed gently outside, their long shadows stretching across the manicured lawns under the eerie glow of a massive, hovering alien spaceship. Yeah, you heard that right. A real, bona fide UFO was parked right above the place. It was as if the universe itself decided to drop in for a chat. Inside, Donald Trump was in his element. Seated behind an enormous desk cluttered with gold-framed photos of himself, golf trophies, and random knickknacks that screamed, "Look at me." He adjusted his famous hair. It was perfectly coiffed, of course, and his complexion had that trademark orange hue that somehow glowed under the soft light. He smirked to himself, convinced that this upcoming meeting would be a walk in the park, or maybe a quick stop at one of his favorite fast food joints. He was gearing up to secure his legacy, not just as a former president or a billionaire businessman, but as the greatest deal-maker the galaxy had ever seen. He imagined headlines splashed across interstellar news networks. Trump makes universe's best deal ever. The thought made him chuckle. Outside, the alien spaceship began to hum softly. With a sleek hiss, a hatch opened, and a ramp extended gracefully to the ground. A trio of aliens descended. They were humanoid, but definitely otherworldly. Tall and slender with green skin that had a soft glow to it, like they were lit from within. Their elongated heads were topped with hairdos that looked suspiciously similar to Trump's. Whether it was a cosmic coincidence or a deliberate choice, no one could say. The leader of the trio, who later introduced himself as Zorplax, stepped forward. His eyes scanned the lavish surroundings, his face a mix of awe and mild confusion. Earth Representative Donald Trump, Zorplax began, his voice echoing in the opulent chamber. It had a sort of musical quality to it, like multiple notes being played at once. "We are here to negotiate a cultural exchange between our civilizations. We desire your fast food recipes and exclusive rights to your popular reality show, The Apprentice." Trump leaned back in his plush, oversized chair, a confident grin spreading across his face. "Fast food, huh? Now that's something I can get behind," he said, tapping his fingers together as if he was already plotting his next move. He could already see it, his name plastered on the moon, maybe even Mars, along with giant holographic burgers floating in space. "Tell you what, how about in return, you build me a Trump Tower on Mars? Make me the first intergalactic president. My name, everyone across the galaxy will know it." Zorplax tilted his head to the side, his luminescent eyes blinking slowly. His brows furrowed as he tried to process what he just heard. "You wish to provide Earth as a payment for fast food?" he asked, clearly puzzled. "Not just fast food. This is the greatest negotiation you'll ever be part of," Trump boomed, waving his arms like he was conducting an invisible orchestra. "Everybody wins. Tremendous deals here, folks." The aliens exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of confusion and intrigue. One of the subordinate aliens pulled out a sleek tablet, scribbling notes in a language that looked like a mix between hieroglyphs and emojis. "Trade Earth for fast food?" the alien whispered to his colleague, who shrugged in response. "Absolutely," Trump continued, warming up to his pitch. "Imagine it, a magnificent Trump Tower on Mars. Think of the tourism. Who wouldn't want to visit a tower named after me? It's a win-win." Meanwhile, in various corners of the Earth, world leaders were getting wind of this bizarre meeting. Frantic calls were being made, and video conferences were hastily arranged. Faces appeared on screens with expressions ranging from panic to disbelief. "What does he mean? Earth as a payment?" one leader shouted, his face turning red. "Is he selling the planet?" Back at Mar-a-Lago, the negotiations were spiraling into what could only be described as a cosmic comedy of errors. The aliens were trying to make sense of Trump's flamboyant gestures and grandiose plans, while Trump was reveling in what he believed was his greatest deal yet. "Maybe we throw in some beauty pageants too," Trump mused aloud, stroking his chin thoughtfully. "First ever intergalactic beauty pageant. We'll get contestants from all over the universe. It'll be huge." Zorplax raised a hand, attempting to regain some control over the conversation. Mr. Trump, our intention was to exchange cultural artifacts and knowledge. Fast food recipes, yes, and your reality television as a means to understand your culture better. We do not wish to own Earth. Trump waved off the comment. Details, details. The point is, we collaborate. You get what you want, I get what I want. That's how deals are made. The aliens huddled together, whispering in their melodic language. Their tablets projected holographic images of Earth, Trump Towers, and what appeared to be giant burgers orbiting planets. It was clear that something was getting lost in translation. Amidst all this, social media was exploding. Hashtags like hashtag Trump sells Earth and hashtag alien deal were trending worldwide. Memes of Trump shaking hands with little green men flooded the internet. News outlets were scrambling to make sense of the situation, sending reporters to Mar-a-Lago and trying to get statements from anyone who might have a clue about what was happening. "Folks, we're witnessing history in the making," one news anchor declared, adjusting his glasses nervously. "An unprecedented meeting between former President Trump and extraterrestrial beings. The implications are, well, frankly, we're not sure what the implications are." Back in the Grand Chamber, the negotiations took another turn. The aliens had decided to involve the Galactic Council to mediate this confusing proposal. Within minutes, thanks to their advanced technology, Trump and the aliens were transported to a massive amphitheater suspended somewhere in the cosmos. The Galactic Court was a sight to behold. Representatives from countless civilizations filled the seats, their appearances as varied as the stars themselves. Some were ethereal beings made of light. Others were hulking creatures with multiple limbs. Judges sat on floating platforms, their forms shifting and changing, making it hard to focus on them for too long. A voice echoed through the amphitheater, resonating in everyone's minds rather than their ears. "We are gathered here to clarify the intentions of Earth Representative Donald Trump regarding a potential trade involving the planet Earth." Trump looked around, clearly impressed. "Now this is more like it," he said, straightening his tie. "A big audience for a big deal." One of the judges, a being composed entirely of swirling galaxies, addressed him directly. "Mr. Trump, is it your intention to trade ownership of Earth in exchange for a structure on Mars and intergalactic titles?" Trump chuckled. "Ownership of Earth? No, you've got it all wrong. I'm talking about partnerships, collaborations. We build a Trump Tower on Mars, or even better, the moon. And in return, you get access to our finest fast food and entertainment. Think of it as a cultural exchange, but on a much grander scale." Zorplax stepped forward, his expression one of relief mixed with exasperation. "So, you do not wish to trade your planet's sovereignty?" "Of course not," Trump replied, waving the idea away. "Earth is the greatest planet, believe me. I'm just offering to share some of our best assets in exchange for expanding our brand across the galaxy." The Galactic Court murmured among themselves. Translations were being rapidly sent across the various delegates. Finally, the judge spoke again. "So, to clarify, you propose an exchange of cultural artifacts, your fast food and entertainment, in return for the construction of a building bearing your name on a celestial body." "Exactly," Trump exclaimed, snapping his fingers. "Now we're on the same page." The delegates began to discuss the proposal in earnest. Holographic charts and graphs appeared above them, showing potential benefits, cultural impact, and amusingly projected sales of Earth fast food in various star systems. Back on Earth, people were glued to their screens as live feeds somehow broadcasted the intergalactic proceedings. Conspiracy theorists were having a field day, while others were simply trying to wrap their heads around the fact that aliens not only existed, but were interested in their fast food and reality TV shows. In the Galactic Court, a consensus was starting to form. Zorplax addressed Trump once more. "We find your proposal acceptable. A cultural exchange benefiting both our civilizations. We shall construct a tower on your moon, as Mars is currently undergoing environmental stabilization." Trump beamed. "The moon, huh? Even better. Closer to home. We can shuttle people back and forth in no time. Think of the views." And in return, Zorplax continued, We will receive your fast food recipes and entertainment content, including the concept of this beauty pageant you mentioned. Trump clapped his hands together. Fantastic. This is going to be the best intergalactic partnership ever. People won't believe it. The galactic court seemed satisfied. The judges nodded, or at least appeared to, given their abstract forms, and the session was adjourned. Just like that, Trump was back at Mar-a-Lago, as if he had never left. He pulled out his phone and, with a satisfied grin, began typing furiously. Just made the greatest deal in the history of the universe. The moon is getting a Trump Tower, and aliens are loving our fast food and TV shows. Tremendous success. The tweet sent shockwaves across social media. Reactions ranged from outright disbelief to sarcastic applause. Did he really just negotiate with aliens? One user tweeted. Only Trump could turn first contact into a business deal, another quipped. News outlets scrambled to cover the story. Panels of experts debated the implications. What does this mean for international, or should I say, interstellar relations? One political analyst pondered. Are we seriously going to have a Trump Tower on the moon? An astronomer questioned, half amused, half concerned. In the days that followed, construction began on the lunar Trump Tower. Well, it wasn't so much construction as it was the aliens using their advanced technology to manifest the building almost instantaneously. One moment the moon's surface was barren, and the next, there stood a gleaming tower, complete with gold accents that reflected the sun brilliantly. People around the world looked up at the night sky, squinting to see if they could catch a glimpse of the newest addition to the lunar landscape. I think I can see it, kids would shout, pointing excitedly. Telescopes were trained on the moon, and sure enough, there was a shining structure standing proudly on the lunar surface. Meanwhile, alien ships began visiting Earth more openly. They weren't invading or anything dramatic like that. Instead, they were setting up what could only be described as interstellar food trucks, offering Earth fast food with a cosmic twist. Lines formed around the block as people eagerly tried galactic versions of their favorite burgers and fries. Television networks were abuzz with new programming. Alien versions of The Apprentice started airing, featuring contestants from different planets competing in challenges that defied human understanding but were wildly entertaining nonetheless. The first intergalactic beauty pageant was announced, set to take place at the newly constructed lunar Trump Tower. Contestants from across the galaxy were invited to participate. The event promised to be the most spectacular pageant ever held, combining talents and cultures from worlds previously unknown to humanity. Back at Mar-a-Lago, Trump was in high spirits. He held a press conference, flanked by a couple of his new alien associates. "Folks, we've done it," he announced proudly. "We've taken Earth to the next level." Other administrations talked about globalization. "We've achieved universalization. Our fast food is a hit across the galaxy. Our entertainment is being watched on planets we've never even heard of. And the moon, well, it's got a beautiful new tower that I'm sure you've all seen by now." Reporters bombarded him with questions. "Mr. Trump, are you concerned about the potential cultural impact of these exchanges? Do you think this could lead to economic shifts on a global scale? What are your thoughts on the environmental considerations of lunar construction?" Trump waved them off one by one. "Look, we've got the best people working on it. The best. The aliens, they know what they're doing. Very advanced, very smart. And as for the economy, this is going to boost it like you've never seen. Jobs, tourism, new markets, you name it." As the world adjusted to this new reality, life became a bit more interesting. Alien tourists started visiting Earth, eager to experience the origin of their new favorite foods and shows. They were generally polite, fascinated by Earth's cultures, and particularly taken with Earth's music and arts. International and interstellar relations became the hottest topic. Governments set up new departments to handle extraterrestrial affairs. Scientists were over the moon, pun intended, with the opportunity to exchange knowledge with alien counterparts. In schools, kids started learning about the different alien species, their histories, and their contributions to the newly expanded community of civilizations. Language classes included not just Spanish and French, but Zorplaxian and other alien tongues. Of course, there were challenges. Cultural misunderstandings cropped up now and then. One incident involved an alien attempting to pay for a meal with a glowing orb that upon closer inspection, turned out to be a miniature sun. It caused quite the stir at the local diner until things were sorted out. But overall, things were going surprisingly smoothly. Humanity had joined a broader community, and while the catalyst had been, shall we say, unorthodox, the results were undeniable. One evening, as Trump sat on his balcony at Mar-a-Lago, sipping a Diet Coke and gazing up at the moon where his tower gleamed brightly, he couldn't help but feel a swell of pride. Not bad, he mused to himself. Not bad at all. His phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from Zorplax. Dear Mr. Trump, we are pleased to report that the intergalactic beauty pageant preparations are underway. We believe it will be a monumental event for all involved. Trump smiled and typed back, glad to hear it. Let's make it the greatest show in the universe. As he set his phone down, he noticed the stars seemed a bit brighter tonight. Or maybe it was just his imagination. Either way, the future looked promising. People around the world were embracing the changes. New businesses were popping up, catering to both human and alien clientele. Restaurants offered fusion dishes that combined Earth ingredients with exotic alien flavors. Fashion designers were inspired by alien attire, creating bold new styles that took runways by storm. Even sports saw new developments. Alien games that involved defying gravity or manipulating energy fields became popular. Humans weren't very good at them yet, but they were learning, and mixed teams started forming for friendly competitions. Environmentalists were thrilled to find that some alien technologies could help heal the planet. Devices that could clean oceans and purify air were shared freely, leading to rapid improvements in Earth's ecosystems. Amidst all this, the first flights to the lunar Trump Tower were scheduled. Tickets sold out instantly, despite the hefty price tag. Celebrities, influencers, and lottery winners were among the first to visit. Social media was flooded with selfies taken against the backdrop of Earth as seen from the moon. One influencer posted, "Just had the most amazing cosmic burger at the lunar Trump Tower's rooftop restaurant. The view? Out of this world." Back on Earth, skeptics remained. Some folks just couldn't wrap their heads around the sudden integration with alien societies. Conspiracy theories abounded, claiming everything from mind control to secret invasions. But over time, even many of the skeptics began to come around. After all, when your neighbor is hosting an alien barbecue and everyone's invited, it's hard to stay grumpy. As for Trump, he continued to bask in the success of his deal. His brand was more famous than ever, not just on Earth, but across galaxies. He held virtual rallies that were broadcast to planets light years away. His catchphrases were being quoted by beings with tentacles and wings alike. One day, he received an invitation to speak at the Galactic Council's annual summit. It was an honor reserved for those who had made significant contributions to interstellar harmony. He accepted, of course, standing before a crowd of millions, both in person and via holographic projections. Trump delivered a speech that was surprisingly unifying. Friends from near and far, he began, "We've shown that when we come together, we can achieve incredible things. We've shared our cultures, our knowledge, and our dreams. Together, we're not just making Earth great, we're making the universe greater." The applause was thunderous, or at least it felt that way, even if some species didn't have hands to clap. In that moment, it didn't matter where anyone came from or what they looked like. They were all part of something bigger. After the summit, Trump returned to Earth, feeling more accomplished than ever. He had done what no one else had, opened the doors to the stars and brought together countless worlds. Sitting once again on his balcony, he watched as a shooting star streaked across the sky. "Maybe I didn't plan it this way," he admitted to himself, "but sometimes the best deals are the ones you didn't see coming." His phone buzzed once more, a message from an old friend. "Don, you've outdone yourself this time. Can't wait to see what's next." He chuckled. "Neither can I." And so, life continued, forever changed by a chance meeting and a deal that started with a simple offer of fast food and reality TV. Who would have thought?